In our news bulletin for this evening, there was a medical evacuation on Friday for a patient with serious head and internal injuries. Premier Toketalangi is off island for important meetings of the Polynesian Leaders Group and the Pacific Island Forum Leaders Meeting. Niue's young athletes put their best foot forward at the Commonwealth Youth Games in Samoa this week. Tuapa's Pre showed a fishing competition, draws in keen fishermen and great catches for the day. A plane arrived on Friday afternoon for a medical evacuation to take a young 17-year-old boy for further medical attention in New Zealand. According to health officials, the young man had sustained head injuries and internal injuries, a result of a motor vehicle accident that he was in on early Thursday morning. Due to the severity of his injuries, doctors worked to get him stabilized and prepared for the medevac flight, where he was accompanied by his auntie. The medevac flight arrived just after 3 in the afternoon and left at about 4:30. It is understood that government will be paying for the medevac, but the patient is now in New Zealand at the Auckland City Hospital receiving further treatment. Pacific Island leaders are in Papua New Guinea this week for the 46th Pacific Islands Forum Leaders Meeting. Climate change is the hot topic at the meeting as island leaders urge Australia and New Zealand to take real actions to advocate for the Pacific on a world stage. Prior to his departure last week, Premier Toketalangi spoke with us about some of the issues he was keen to push for, firstly as part of the Polynesian Leaders Group, as the chairman for the past year.
That I'm chair of for the present moment. I'm handing over the chair to Edith Tokela all the time. We're going to meet to discuss climate change agreements that we signed in Tahiti, the surveillance program that we've agreed to with Pew, the initiatives that we're looking at in terms of a regional airline that can be set up, for example. And there are one or two other things that the Polynesian Group. I think the Polynesian Group over the past 3 or 4 years has started to mature in a manner that it's looking at how it develops the agenda, if you wish, that we can use to go, for example, to Paris, to go to a forum and so on, to talk about climate change and some of the other things that we need to refer to. So I'm pleased that we've contributed somewhat to that process as well.
This week, regional leaders of the forum are taking a regional approach to addressing some of the most pressing issues for the Pacific, and Premier Talangi noted the issues that Niue will be supporting.
At the present moment, whether we like it or not, climate is changing, and therefore we've got to respond to it. And also prepare for a common approach to that. The other one is fishing. I mean, I've always talked about fishing and the fact that we need to get more out of fisheries and so on. And those are, I believe, the two things that we're going to talk about, and I want to talk about. We'll also talk about the regionalism and how that's going to be manifested by the forum, for example. I'm not sure at the present moment, because I'm not sure whether everybody understands what, for them, regionalism means. For example, when you talk about climate change, do we have a common approach or not a common approach? New Zealand and Australia might different, Papua New Guinea might different, we might differ and so on, in the manner that we use the sciences that are provided to us to determine a political decision and strategies going forward. In the fisheries, I understand that the United States is sitting down with a fairly high-powered team, so looking forward to meeting them and so on, and talk to them about fisheries and also security issues and so on with regard to that.
Climate talks in Paris at the end of November represent a last chance for Pacific leaders to implore to the rest of the world to commit to limiting rise in global temperatures. For Niue High School students are in Samoa with Team Niue to compete in the Commonwealth Youth Games that starts this week. The Niue team of 3 athletes and 4 officials have arrived safely in Samoa and have settled into the Games Village at the Audia School in Pesanga, whilst their technical officer or official for weightlifting is accommodated at Amano Apartments. Niue's small team of 3 athletes competing in athletics and weightlifting are up against tough competition with athletes from larger countries, from Europe, the Republic of South Africa, Australia, India, England, as well as the wider Asia region. NISCA President Alan Tunnell reported that the athletics team competed yesterday. Paka completed her first event in the 100-meter sprints. She managed a time of 14.63 seconds. Boston also completed his first event, competing in the 1500-meter run, making it through the heats and into the semi-finals, placing 11th in his section with a total time of 5 minutes, 18.4 seconds. He also ran in the 800 meters, placing 5th in the heats with a time of 2 minutes and 29 seconds. Later on this week, Matoria Tano will be competing in the weightlifting category. Now into day 3, Australia are dominating at the top of the medals table with 28 medals, followed closely by England and South Africa. The Commonwealth Youth Games concludes at the end of the week on the 11th of September. Last Saturday, more than 40 canoe fishermen took part in the Tuapa fishing competition as a lead-up to the village show day. A Marine Day is one of the most anticipated events on a calendar year for villages around the island, normally held before the village show day. Canoe fishermen launched their canoes off from different launching sites in Tuapa, including the Namukulu ramp. Fishermen from all over the island took part in trying their luck and skills to land a big fish and the big prize. We're about the same number of mainly ladies and children who were just as competitive, fishing off the reef in the form of seashells, plus a few keen spear fishermen. The overall winners for the day in the canoes category, the heaviest fish, which was a tuna, caught by Umusi Makani. For bottom fish, that went to Edward Sietu. The heaviest bottom fish went to Matthew Jessup. Reef fishing, heaviest total weight went to Harry Motahanga. Most number of fish caught, Nesi Kapanga, and spearfishing prize went to Ochi Siatanga. The winner of the heaviest fish caught out on a canoe for the last 2 years, Fale Misileki, wasn't so lucky this year. There are also visitors from New Zealand here already, and the village is expecting some more visitors this Friday for the annual event. Tuapa will have their annual show day this coming Saturday. And those are our news stories that we have for you this evening. Do join us again for our next news bulletin on Thursday.